Hey folks, welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. Breaking news out of South Africa, where the Department of Correctional Services has issued medical parole for convicted Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa. Easily predictable, imminently predictable that this nonsense was going to occur. Remember back on June 29th of this year, 2021, I saw the conviction that was handed down by the Constitutional Court, and I stated emphatically that he would serve very little time. He would get medical parole shortly after he was in prison. Well, we've seen all kinds of shenanigans from Jacob Zuma, but in fact today, the 5th of September, the Department of Correctional Services apparently has issued a medical parole for him, or at least that's a public statement that's circulating throughout the social media sphere right now. So we'll have to take a look and see where this goes from here. But the following purported media statement from Correctional Services says, Mr. Zuma placed on medical parole. The Department of Correctional Services is able to confirm that Mr. Jacob Zuma has been placed on medical parole. Now, the National Commissioner has responsibility to place correctional supervision for any parole or grant parole or medical parole for any offender sentenced to 24 months or less incarceration. Well, Zuma was sentenced to less than 24 months. Now, the medical parole's eligibility for Mr. Zuma is impelled by a medical report received by the Department of Correctional Services. Interesting that they received a report. Given that the National Prosecuting Authority can't seem to get a report from them, but they can't examine him. He's in contempt of court there. He's in contempt of court for not turning himself in on time on the 4th of July when he's supposed to. He has been in contempt of court repeatedly, but only once convicted of it. Plenty of opportunities to convict him yet again. So he's impelled by a medical report received by the Department of Correctional Services. Now, this doesn't state that this is the case for Zuma. Listen to this sentence very carefully. Apart from being terminally ill and physically incapacitated, inmates suffering from an illness that severely limits their daily activity or self-care can also be considered for medical parole. So what is wrong with Jacob Zuma? Now, we saw him dancing and singing with no difficulty whatsoever on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of July, 2021, dancing around. And then when he goes to jail on the 8th of July, suddenly he's got a medical problem dating from November of 2020. A problem that requires 6 months hospitalization, according to his doctors. Now, why wasn't he hospitalized between November and July 8th? That's about 8 or 9 months there, 10 months. Why wasn't he hospitalized then if it was so urgent? It wasn't, because it's all a fraud, it's all a scam, and you shouldn't be surprised. But not to worry, folks. Jacob Zuma will step on his crank yet again and get himself back in jail because he's an intransigent, arrogant ass. And it's just a matter of time before he winds back up in the clink. The medical parole placement for Mr. Zuma means that he will complete the remainder of the sentence in the system of community corrections. What the hell does that mean? Is he in a villa somewhere? Whereby he must comply with specific set of conditions, not publicly released to us, and will be subjected to supervision until his sentence expires. Will he have an ankle bracelet? What exactly is going on? Don't count on any of that. Wow. The Correctional Services say, we want to reiterate that placement on medical parole is an option available to all sentence offenders, provided they meet all the requirements. We appeal to all South Africans to afford Mr. Zuma dignity as he continues to receive medical treatment. Well, apparently medical parole is not available to all offenders. What about the ill gentleman who murdered Chris Hani? He's been denied all kinds of parole. Yeah, Jacob Zuma given medical parole. What a scam. South Africa is an embarrassing joke to the world. Its Department of Injustice, its correctional system, its physical safety of its citizens. What a pathetic, sad excuse for a nation. Sorry to say. Well, Jacob Zuma, I predicted it back on June 29th, and here it is, medical parole. It's just a matter of time. The man has served virtually no time in a prison cell. Virtually no time. What a scam.